What is up, everyone? My name is Mr. J, and today I am bringing you a Ragnaloardmon Black deck profile for the Digimon 1.5 format. This is part of our budget series, so please keep that in mind as we go through the deck profile. Everything you see here, we built for under $150. You can check out the video on that posted below. So $150, that's a great deal for this. This deck is very defensive, so if you like control decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, then you'll feel right at home with this deck. Enough talking though, let's jump right into the profile. Alright, so starting off with the babies, we have 4 copies of Kaporimon and only 1 copy of Kakenmon. Overall, Kaporimon is the way to go. I truly believe the memory gain from the Kakenmon is negligible. Ragnaloardmon already starts off with the reboot skill, meaning a Kaporimon will give him that extra 1000 boosts so that he can at least clash with an opposing Omnimon. And that to me is invaluable. So yes, Kaporimon at 4 copies. Moving on to our rookies, we play a total of 14. Starting off, we have the 4 copies of Toy Agumon. Toy Agumon is by far the best rookie at this moment for black decks. He gives them the inheritable ability of Reboot, and that alone is amazing. I believe Reboot is extremely underrated because it essentially makes your Digimon way harder to delete in battle. Then we are playing the 4 copies of Commandramon. Commandramon is just a good vanilla rookie to hard cast for only 2 memory. Very cheap, but very reliable. I can't say anything else about this card. I played over the Hagurumon simply because it's cooler to me, but you can play the Hagurumon if you like that one better. Alright, next up, I have 4 copies of Ludomon. Ludomon is your searcher. You could say on play, you get to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. This is very similar to the Excavate mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! And then so you could add 1 Ragnaloardmon and 1 Digimon with the Legend Arms type to your hand. So you play this and you essentially can go +2. This is great for consistency because it helps you search out any crucial pieces you might be missing during your game. And the consistency is important, so I would not run it at less than 4 copies. For that reason, we are also running 2 copies of Zubamon. It has the same effect as Ludomon. This is perhaps the most controversial decision, but I know damn well that consistency is very important in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's no different in the Digimon TCG. Searching out your missing pieces is always welcome. What I like to do with Zubamon, since obviously you can't Digivolve on top of it since all you play is black, is after you hard play him, you just simply attack your opponent's security next turn. So it's not a waste whatsoever. Alright, moving on to our champions. We play 4 copies of Greymon. If you don't agree with this, fight me. Seriously, bro. Greymon is the best champion for black at the moment. The inheritable effect reads, while this Digimon has Reboot, it gains jamming. So get this, you can attack your opponent's security with your Digimon that has the Reboot skill and it will never die because of the jamming ability. Like yeah, if you run into a Gaia Force, obviously your Digimon's going to die, but it will never be deleted in battle by a security Digimon. I would never run this Greymon at anything less than 4 copies. Next up, we do have 4 copies of the Guardiamon. Now Guardiamon is one you can switch out. He is a super defensive option. He's a level 4 blocker with a DP of 7000, so he can basically block most level 5 Digimon, which is crucial. It can be crucial sometimes. The trade-off is that he can't attack for nothing. And I will tell you now, sometimes I could have sealed the game much sooner if this Guardiamon was something else, anything else. So again, it's really up to your own playstyle. I will say he is great when you are stalling and trying to get into Ragnaloardmon. And then to round off our champions, we are playing 2 copies of Tankmon and 2 copies of Numamon. Again, really up to personal preference. These are here because they only cost 1 to Digivolve, so they're super cheap. And definitely needed in this deck because black tends to play very slow. So these 4 copies help you get to your level 5s and your 6s much faster. The trade-off again is there's no inheritable skills. So yeah, if you want, you can switch out any of these copies, any of these 12 for the Tyludamons if you really want to go all in the Ragnaloardmon engine. But you will see that we are playing the Raigiludamon for the level 5s. Moving on to our ultimates, we play 9 in total. First off, we have our 4 copies of Metal Greymon. This is the boy. He has the reboot skill, and he is one of the main reasons Greymon is so good. Having a Greymon under Metal Greymon means your Metal Greymon will never be deleted when attacking security because he will have the jamming ability, right? To top it off, Metal Greymon also has an inheritable skill. So if the Digivolve Digimon has reboot, it gains security attack +1. So you can quickly see that a stack of Toy Agumon, Greymon, and Metal Greymon can be downright scary for your opponent depending on what level 6 you have on top of it. Next, I am running 3 copies of Andromon. Andromon is just your standard level 5 blocker. Nothing much else to say. Really good for stalling while you level up to your level 6 Digimon. What I like about Andromon as opposed to Guardromon is that Andromon can attack, right? There's no negative consequences for attacking with this Andromon. And then finally, I am only playing 2 copies of Raigiludamon. I play this for the D-Digivolve inheritable skill it gives Ragnaloardmon. I also think D-Digivolve is extremely underrated in the Digimon TCG. It doesn't delete opposing Digimon, it basically just trashes the Digimon card on top. So I would run more copies just because it's a play cost of only 6. So you can hardcast this for only 6 memory. Honestly, I might cut an Andromon and then put another Raigi. Or try to find some space for a Tyludamon. I believe it's pronounced Tyludamon, but you can let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, again, the ratios, you can switch them up to your liking. Moving on to our megas. We play 8 in total. So first off, we do have the 2 copies of Blitz Greymon. This was a much needed addition to Black. When Digivolving, he will D-Digivolve 2 on one of your opponent's Digimon. So this serves to interrupt your opponent when they're building up toward their Omnimon or Imperial Dramon. Only thing that sucks is that he is a 4 cost when Digivolving, but he does also have the piercing ability, which is great. It's not reboot, but it's still pretty good. The other thing you could do is instead of the Blitz Greymon, you could also play the Crest Garurumon. Again, up to your playstyle. Then I am playing 1 copy of Machine Dramon. I just love this artwork, and I think his on-play effect is super good. When you hardcast him for 12, he will D-Digivolve 2 materials from 2 of your opponent's Digimon. So he is great at breaking a board or just interrupting your opponent. He is also a blocker, so if your opponent does manage to build up back to a level 6 or 7, Machine Dramon can still guard your security. And again, if you don't like the Machine Dramon, you could switch it out for any other level 6. And then for the Ragnaloardmon package, we are playing 3 copies of Raigiludamon and 2 copies of the Durandamon. I am putting more importance on the blocker, the Bryway, as I think the blocker ability on Ragnaloardmon is far more useful. But again, really up to personal preference, what ratio you want to play these at. What I really like about them is that even though they're level 6, they are only 3 to Digivolve. So if you start off with 3 memory, you can technically go into your level 6, and then you can go into your Ragnaloardmon, and then Ragnaloardmon's ability will allow you to still attack on the same turn. But we'll get into that once we get to the big boy. All right, then we have 4 copies of the boss monster himself, Ragnaloardmon. I would never run him at anything less than 4 copies, as this is your main win condition. Again, he can be searched out by Ludamon or Zubamon. When you Digivolve into him, you can place a Bryway Ludramon or a Durandamon from your hand under him as a material in order to gain 3 memory. So that's busted. It is very memory efficient when you have the extra pieces in your hand. So think about it, an Omnimon usually costs 6. This guy, you can Digivolve up to him for essentially 0 memory if you have the right pieces. He already comes with the reboot ability and security attack +1, and I will be honest, I have hard played Ragna in Digiduels before for 14, right? 14 cost. And he's just so OP. Hard playing him or, Digivolving into him, it just puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to answer him as soon as possible or risk losing the game. But that's it for our boss monster. I'm gonna go into the last 3 cards of the deck. Finally, to finish off the deck, we are running 3 copies of Tai Kamiya. This is the only Tamer I play. Miss me with that Joe Keto card. I don't play that. The extra 1000 DP Tai gives you on your opponent's turn means that your Ragna can basically block and clash with a 15,000 DP Omnimon. You can run 2 copies of this if you like, but starting at 3 memory is extremely crucial, especially in this deck. Again, the magic number for Ragnaloardmon and his sword and shield is 3. So Tai can make sure your opponent does not memory choke you. Honestly, I feel much safer with the Tai than without it. I would never run it at 0 copies. Definitely going to be a staple card for a long while. And that's it for the Ragnaloardmon Black budget deck profile. Let me know in the comment section what you like about Ragnaloardmon Black. Is this your favorite deck, or what other color are you currently piloting? And if you're spending that moolah, what upgrades would you make to this deck? If you like the video, make sure to delete that like button so I know you are enjoying and would like to see more of this Digimon content. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all next time.